There's nothing wrong with using loops. There's a big war going on around the producer community about producers using loops and, you know, other producers calling people who use loops fake producers or saying that you're not a real producer unless you're able to make your own melodies. And that's not the case at all. I feel like that's the silliest argument going around right now. And, you know, that just goes against everything that music has been for years and what it's turned into now. Back then, you got the big name guys. You got Timbaland, you got Kanye, you got Pharrell, you got all of these guys, and they are using loops. They're throwing drums on top of samples of music that's already created. And on top of that, they're going and really having people that may get paid for hire, so work for hire. And for the guys that don't know what that is, work for hire is basically I can go and tell someone, hey, I want you to come play the piano. I want you to come play this out for me. Hire them for about like maybe a couple hours, and then I go pay them for the work that they did. So for loops, it's confusing to me because it's basically the same concept, but, you know, now it's emails because it's 2024. I don't understand how us musicians are upset because times have changed and we want to make work a little easier for ourselves. Then we also want to try new ideas. There are some producers that specialize in certain sounds that we don't. I don't play the guitar, so hey, I got my buddies that play the guitar. I got buddies who make R&B better than me. I have friends that do certain things better than me and associates that do certain things better than me. So why should I not use their talent, combine it with mine, and make a perfect record? I just made another major label album with a producer that sent me a loop, obviously, and it's helping him in his career as far as the placement itself, you know, taking care of himself, his family, whatever the case may be. But collaboration, people, that's what it is. So why is it a big problem? I'm going to explain why it's a big problem now. Some people have bad egos. A lot of people are haters. A lot of people just want to talk the talk. So we really have to ignore everything that they're talking about as far as loops go. I love loops. I make my own melodies. I use loops. I love to use loops because it makes my workflow easier. And also the things that get sent to me, they're just so good, I'm excited to use them. So I don't have a problem with producers using loops. There are some producers that are really, really, really crazy at drum patterns. That doesn't make you any less of a producer because you decide that you want to do drums instead of making melodies. Let me wake y'all up and have y'all think for a second. Have y'all ever thought of what a band is? I used to be in band in middle school. You have people who are on the trombones, people who are on the piano. Then you have your percussionists. You have snare players. Got people to play the triangle. You have people to do all these other things in percussion. So what makes it different that it's on FL? Nothing, right? Okay, then. So I don't even see why it's a big argument going around about producers who use loops and producers who don't necessarily make their own melodies. It's 2024. There's so many tools around. There's so many producers around. Loops have been going on for years. It wasn't a thing back then, but now it is. So you can either complain about it or you can get with the program and work with other people and create crazy music. I met some producers that have told me that they do not use loops because they feel like it's not the right thing to do. I asked them, I said, why do you feel like that? They didn't have a real answer for me, and really some of them also said that they seen some things on social media that convinced them that loops weren't the way to go. If you are not using loops in 2024, you are so behind with producing right now, it's insane. Even if you create your own melodies and send them off to someone to collaborate with them, that is you sending a loop, dude. So what is wrong with you actually working on a loop with someone else and creating a fire beat? There's nothing wrong with that. You cannot look at using loops like it's something bad or it's something that's ruining your career. Music has always been about collaboration, and I am 100% supportive of loops and the guys doing it, all the producers that make loops, whatever you want to call them, loop makers. I'm really happy that this movement is going on because it just makes life for producers like myself and others very easy because we have to do a lot of footwork and working our beats in studios and sessions and doing this and doing that. So with receiving loops, it makes our time with creating beats easier and increases our workflow. So now we can go do the other things because we already fought half the battle. And guess what? The other producer is going to get paid the right way for his work and his time. It's teamwork. Literally, it's teamwork. There is no reason to be like, man, I got to use this loop, man, but I just really feel like it's not the right thing to do. Man, use the loop. We were thinking too much about this fake war of, oh, I can make my own melodies. Oh, I can't make them. Like, we're making a problem out of nothing when other people are out there excelling and they're winning because they don't mind working with other people. The biggest artists in the game use loops. The Metros, the Southsides, everybody else uses loops, and they collab with other people. Who's the one of the produce? TNT. TNT uses a lot of loops, and he's helped a lot of producers out by working with their loops and getting them on big albums, raw wave albums, all type of albums that he's worked on. So, and there's many more producers doing it. I just don't understand the issue, and there shouldn't be an issue. If you want to use loops, use loops. Stop thinking too hard about it. If you have beat block, pull out a loop. Get creative, man. You might hear something that really inspires you, and then you can get on FL Studio and actually work a melody because you got some inspiration from somebody. And if you're one of those guys who really don't want to use loops like that for some strange reason, use the time wisely and go watch some tutorials so you can get better at creating melodies then, instead of just struggling. Some producers will really struggle because they don't properly know how to make a melody, but they refuse to use loops, and it makes no sense. So my advice to you guys is to put the pride aside and kill this silly debate over using loops and are you a real producer if you can't make your own melody. Man, if you know how to make a beat, you're a producer, man. So stay confident and really just enjoy the process. Enjoy working with others, enjoy creating with others, and don't be the fool out there not to use loops, man. It's a good thing in the game right now, and I promise you it's only going to evolve and get even crazier, so you might as well get with the times now. There's nothing wrong with loops.